All right, and we are live. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. This is 8:30 in the morning on 5th of November, and we are streaming live from the head office of the TX Group in Zurich, Switzerland, on the banks of the beautiful Sill River. Today, in less than half an hour, the TX Conference 2020 is going to start, and tonight we have a super packed program. Why did I say tonight? Today. Throughout the whole day, we have a super packed program. We have more than 50 speakers this year. It's the biggest conference that TX Group has organized so far. But we have also other programs. We have a career booth where you can learn all about working at TX and applying to the TX Group. We also have a gaming competition, etc. And today on this stream, there's also Conference TV, and I am Benjamin Delahaye. I'm your host for today. And I will be hosting, along with the other moderator, Harry Fuchs, which I will be talking about in a second, exclusive stream of interviews with different people from the TX Groups. So it's going to be a very exciting program. We're going to have talks about product, about marketing, about technology, and to hear everything about today, let's welcome to the program Harry Fuchs. Good morning, Harry.
Good morning, Ben. Let me just let me just unpack myself. I'm just demonstrating
all our
TX
safety
conference
measures.
swag. We've got the face masks. We've got these strange glasses. We'll talk more about those later. Good morning. Thank you so much for doing this for us. This is fantastic.
No, and thank you for tuning in, guys. So before we start talking, if you are watching this stream on YouTube or on LinkedIn, please go to the link at the bottom of the video, just under the video. It will take you to a platform called Hopin. Hopin is where you can experience the entirety of the conference, all the different talks. You can also experience this conference TV, but also the gaming competition, the career networking sessions, etc., etc. So there are still a limited number of tickets available. So go and claim it, so you make sure that you don't miss out on the richness of the program that's available today for the TX Conference 2020. So, Harry, let's have a little chat now.
Yeah, with pleasure.
So, Harry, who are you? Can you introduce yourself to our viewers?
So I work in TX Group, and I'm also responsible for the conference that we're running today. And yeah, my name is Harry Fuchs, and what more should I say right now?
First of all, how much sleep have you not had in the past couple of weeks?
Actually, I can probably count it on maybe just one hand.
On one hand, okay.
So I'm a little bit grey under the eyes, but it's been a lot of fun organizing this.
Yeah.
So.
I can imagine, and this is going to be a theme in the talks today, but of course the circumstances of this year has impacted a lot the organization of this event.
Yeah, these face mask things.
These face masks, all the security measures that we have in the studio, of course, all the health measures, but also the conference itself. I mean,
absolutely. So we're doing this. This is the first time we do it as a virtual event. This last year, so it's the 6th year we do this. Last year we had 600 people, but it was physical.
Yeah.
This year we have nobody in this building. We have people talking to empty stages, talking on laptops. But I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. So
well, and that was also an opportunity, because last year you had 600 people, which was the maximum capacity of the participants you could have.
Absolutely.
Today, more than 1,300 participants have signed up.
Exactly, which is fantastic, crazy as well.
So you've doubled.
Yeah, exactly.
You've doubled it.
Online, there are just no limits. We can invite everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there are still tickets available. It can go up to 2,000. So check the link at the bottom of the stream if you're watching on YouTube and LinkedIn. Make sure that you don't miss out on the full conference experience on Hopin. So Harry, let's talk a little bit about the history of the conference.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said it's the 6th year that TX Group is doing it.
How
did it start? Because it wasn't always public, was it?
That's right. Yeah. No. The very beginning was actually up in the top of this building, room full of about 30, 40 people, all software developers. That was the very first conference with talks going on, and the idea was to, the TX Group is a group of many different companies like Homegate, Tutti, Ricardo, Doodle, all these companies.
Yeah.
And the idea was to bring the software engineers together and get them to share knowledge.
Okay.
And so that's how it began, very small.
Very small, and as a pure software development conference.
Exactly. Well, all the great things begin with software developers, let's face it.
Of course.
So
you must be a software developer.
Yeah, once upon a time.
Once upon a time, okay.
And and over time it just kind of grew and snowballed, and more people. Last year was the first year we had tracks for product marketing design people. They were so jealous that they had to.
They had to jump in.
No, it made it a lot more fun because you just had this really interesting mix.
Yeah.
Even for software engineers, it's like a whole day of engineering talks can get a bit much.
Okay.
And hearing another perspective is really nice.
Yeah. So actually, this brings me to the theme of the.
Yes.
So the visual theme of the conference. So let's start. Behind me is a cat who's shooting laser out of his eyes.
Exactly.
And a dog who's wearing this really cool pixelated glasses. Can you tell us a bit about these? Can you tell us a bit about these animals, Harry?
Well, the first thing, obviously, animals are cute, and so we just went for the cute. But there is a bit of a meaning here. So we started with these animals last year.
Okay.
The dogs represent the engineers because they're lovable, obedient. They just do what they're told.
He said it.
and, and then and then the cats are the product people. You know, because product people tend to have to deal with all kinds of their, you know, they're chasing after all kinds of stuff.
Okay, and always fall back on their feet.
Exactly, they
Okay.
always land on their feet.
Yeah.
And then we also have the parrot, which represents the marketing people,
Okay.
because, you know, they're more exotic birds of paradise. And so we began with these three images last year, but this year, because this is a virtual event, we figured we better make them a bit more virtual, which explains the lasers.
The lasers, yes, of
glasses.
course.
The parrot has this kind of Mothra from these Godzilla movies, this Wi-Fi thing that it's shooting out.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the hidden meaning of these images.
Okay, well, that's good to know for our viewers. So now we're going to get to the theme, Enter the Metaverse. Before we get actually to explain this and where it came from, there's been a lot of hurdles organizing this event,
Yeah.
just because of it's a situation that obviously we don't need to explain. But this is normally a live event in front of people. So how did you prepare such a conference of this magnitude in such an uncertain environment?
Looking back, it's actually very hard to answer that question. So normally we run the conference in the summer in June, and we actually began planning it takes about 6 months to organize a conference, began planning in January.
Yeah.
And laying the first groundwork. Then we started hearing some rumors about coronavirus in February. And by March, we had lockdown. And then we're like, oh, okay, this event that's going to bring 600 people together, probably not possible. So then it was a roller coaster. We were up and down. Do we have to cancel? Do we have to do
Yeah.
this? And we ended up creating different probability models for what was likely to happen.
Because I worked on with you on the preparation of this conference, obviously, for hosting. And we had 4 different models of conference that we were ready to produce.
Exactly, yeah.
In case of, you know, whatever the situation.
Yeah.
So today we have, I would say, maybe not the worst case scenario, but the second.
The worst case scenario is what we wanted to have in the main room. It's called Verdino.
Yeah.
We wanted to have a small audience, socially distanced, wearing face masks. But we've even cancelled that. So unfortunately, the speakers there will be presenting to an empty room with just a few camera people.
But at least we're able to be, you know, you and I in the studio with a lot of distance between us.
Exactly, yeah.
And
at least 5 meters here.
At least 5 meters. And really today is going to be on Conference TV. We're going to have a lot of exclusive interviews with different people from TX. Yeah. Some of them will be joining from their, you know, from home on their laptops or, you know, computers. But some of them are able to be in the studio, which is great. Yeah. Some of the speakers also able to be in the main conference room in Verdino, which you can, you know, you can watch the stream on Hopin as well. I will repeat the whole day to go to Hopin if you're not on there yet.
He's going to make you Hopin mad.
I am going to be Hopin man, obviously. So we had to deal with a lot of uncertainty planning this and different scenarios. So today we have a production scenario, which is a bit of a hybrid model. Some people here, some people in the you know, from their home office. Pretty much maybe at the image of what work is going to look like for at least the foreseeable short-term future. And maybe a hybrid model of working will, you know, start to be created. But that led you to choose the conference title. So today, this year's TX conference is called Enter the Metaverse.
Exactly.
So for people like me who don't know what the Metaverse is, can you explain it to us?
So I should put on my glasses again.
Okay, so let's put our glasses
the metaverse
as we are entering the metaverse.
So if you're a hardcore kind of geek, nerd, programmer type of person, hacker, whatever, you may have heard of a book called Snow Crash by a guy called Neil Stephenson. This is kind of the Bible of nerdishness. It's a sci-fi book that describes a future where there is this virtual space called the metaverse. People still have normal lives, but the metaverse is so much better, so much more amazing. I'm just trying to.
So it's not like the Matrix, where people don't even know that they are in a simulation or in a virtual world. In this book, people have chosen to be in the metaverse.
Exactly, which makes it either so much better or so much worse that normal lives become so bland that people choose the metaverse. But we're in a situation we're kind of forced into this. So
we're forced to be into the metaverse.
So let's make it fantastic.
Yes, let's make the best out of it.
Exactly.
Okay. So one thing that has intrigued people is this conference started as a day of ID exchange between developers in a small meeting room here in the TX office. So that software developers from different companies of the group would be able to exchange ideas. What has prompted the TX group to make this idea exchange, which you would think, okay, we're going to keep it for ourselves because that's going to make us stronger than our competitors, but was it last year the first time that the TX group decided to make it a public event, and so why such generosity? But I mean, you know what I mean. Why make it a public event?
Well, purely altruistic reasons, of course.
Of course.
No. So I mean, at one level, a lot of people working in software, it's all about open source, and the talks that we're going to have today, we're going to put on YouTube, and it's general knowledge that's going to be useful to people. And you see someone who's running some of the biggest websites in Switzerland sharing their knowledge. That's just valuable to everyone. The hidden agenda on this is, we just want to let people know what we do and show that we could be a great place to work. We have great people here. We're doing great things. I think over 50% of the traffic of the internet runs over TX Group
companies,
websites and companies. So if you work here, you can have real impact. I mean, we're talking names people know: Homegate, Tutti, Ricardo, Doodle, Coffee.
These are very, very well-known brands here in Switzerland and outside of Switzerland. So I like that in 15 minutes in Conference TV, we're getting the hidden agenda. And this is what's going to be like today in this studio on Conference TV. We're going to talk to various people of the TX group. You and I will be interviewing, employees, CTOs, CEOs of different TX companies. So that's going to be a very exciting program. Now, is it that also it is in the software engineering culture to have an open source culture, and this is why you are releasing these ideas to the world as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think, pretty much every company now benefits at some level from open source, be it Linux, there's all kinds of open source code that people are building their products out of, and it's part of that mindset that you give something back. There are actually people within the group who contribute to open source projects, but also open source knowledge, sharing this knowledge, because in the end it all comes back to you. You tell, hey, we developed this technique for doing something, here's how we solved the problem. You fix someone else's problem, hopefully then they learn something and share that knowledge back, and we all get better. I mean, in the end, almost this event, this is the first time we do a virtual conference like this. There have been a few that's happened around the world this year. We're trying it in a certain format, and maybe people will see things about how we did it today that will inspire them, make the metaverse more amazing.
Do we have, every time we say metaverse, we have to say metaverse?
Yeah, you have to make it sound like something.
All right, I'll try to remember this today as we are exploring the metaverse.
Oh, fantastic. That was great.
So on Conference TV, it's going to be a very informal type of discussions, talks, panel. It's going to be a bit of a live podcast for, all throughout the day.
I guess we have about 500 to 600 external people, some of them who don't really know us at all. And maybe the impression is it feels very kind of in-crowdy because all the people that work here already know how it works. So, I think it's great we have you here to give an entry point for people that haven't been to this conference before.
Cool. So speaking of people, not only who are going to be giving speeches and be in the studio, but let's talk about the people who have registered to attend the conference. So you've monitored a little bit who's going to be the audience of today. Is everyone based in Zurich? Is everyone a software engineer? Is there diversity? What have you noticed?
Not so. It's actually, the group itself. We have companies like Zatu in Germany.
Yeah.
We have a big engineering office in Serbia. I've been looking a little bit at the map of where, there are people tuning in from the US, from Australia, and one from New Zealand. I have no idea what's going on anymore. So there are a lot of people coming. Of course, the majority are based in Switzerland. But we'll see. Hopefully, people are going to chat and hop in and introduce themselves, and we'll find out where everyone's coming from.
Yeah, there's already quite a lot of chatter on the main on the main chat of the conference on Hopin. People seem to be very excited. Even if I read the comment of Thomas Gresh, loving it already.
Oh, okay. Hi, Thomas. Can I just shout out to Thomas? Thomas is okay. Just a quick bit of history. Thomas started this conference. This was his idea way back in the early days. May I just say one thing? Back then, this company used to be called Tamedia, and this conference was so successful, they changed the name of the group to TX Group.
Yeah, so that's actually this conference has had an amazing impact on the company.
Yeah, it's really, and I think it's a beautiful thing that this thing that grew in-house ended up being the thing that we wanted to show to the world, rather than, you have some external agency coming up with a name for you that no one relates to. Like when we say we are TX Group, basically everyone here can connect to that. It means something. Yeah.
So shout out to Thomas.
Thomas Gresh, yeah.
It's Thomas Gresh.
He's
for
giving
starting
a
this
talk
adventure.
later on as well, so we'll see him.
All right. So speaking of talks, in 11 minutes.
Oh yeah, 1 more minute.
You'll be officially opening the conference. Of course, the CEO of the TX Group will be giving an address at 9:10. That sounds very formal, an address, a welcome talk.
Yeah. So we'll do a quick intro to just a quick official greeting.
Yes.
Then we'll hand over to Mr. Pietro Supino, who gives the official welcome words to the conference. Actually, he's going to be coming here to join us in these fantastic.
Yes. So stay tuned, because we will have an interview with Pietro Supino later.
We'll be sitting in these great chairs. I mean, they make me wonder how many shades of them there are.
There's many.
Yeah.
Many of them. So.
All right, I should run.
So you should run, Harry. So Harry's he's taking his mic off, and we have about 10 minutes to go before Harry takes the stage. So before I log off for our next programming, let me remind you again. So if you just tuned in and you are watching this stream from LinkedIn or from YouTube, there is a link under the video. It will take you to a platform called Hopin. And this is on this platform that you can enjoy the full experience of the conference. We will have a walkthrough the Hopin platform later, so you can really understand all the different sections that they are, and you don't miss anything. And of course, don't forget to stay tuned to Conference TV if you want to see exclusive interviews with people from the TX group. The entire schedule is also on Hopin. So the schedule of the different speakers and the interviews in the studio, so you can really pick and choose and make this a conference as personalized an experience as you want, because there's really something for everybody. We have a gaming competition, we have a career, we'll have a career interview here today, but there's also an entire session on how to apply to TX, what type of people they are looking for, and there are also people from recruitment who will answer your questions today. So what I would like to do is, for everybody who's watching this stream, if you can go, we're going to broadcast from my computer a slide. So here you go, good old Mentimeter. So if you go to menti.com, there you go. So our director just put the slide. If you go to menti.com and you use the code, so if you can't read it, I'm going to say it for you, 5129 513, so menti.com 5129 513, and really enter in this on this website, what do you want to get out of this conference. So go to menti.com and use the code 5129 513. Hopefully this is working, and we're going to get some answers in a few minutes. There you go. So the answers are starting to come in. So can we please put them live? Tim, our director, Tim Hughes from Creation Station in Zurich. Inspiration, knowledge. So inspiration is definitely the one thing that people are looking the most for, and knowledge the second one. Fun, new friends. There's gonna be networking opportunities on Hopin, so it will be great. Learn new things, more knowledge, and hoodie. So, so some of you, the ones of you who have signed up the earliest to the conference have received a box of goodies, or will receive very soon. And it will still be possible. We still have some boxes left. We have an unboxing session later on this stream. And of course, this beautiful hoodie, it says TX Conference on it. It's legit and has all the animals on the back. Let's go back to the slide, please. So thank you so much, everybody, for participating. I mean, the word cloud is, of course, somebody made some jokes, but that's you cannot avoid it if you are live and you have hundreds of participants. So that's okay. So let's ignore. But a breath of fresh air, meet and see great people, fresh ideas, insights, a job. So of course, we're probably gonna have to cut back to me because that three-letter word is getting bigger and bigger. Of course, we will track everybody's IP address. We will find the culprits. Fun, knowledge, and motivation. So, guys, this is going to be very exciting. I can see you guys are as excited as we are. So, 5 minutes to go until Harry kicks off the conference along with his colleagues, Robin. And after that, 9:10, we will have the welcoming speech from the CEO of TX Group, Pietro Supino, which we will also restream live from the Conference TV channel. Otherwise, you can also watch it on Hopin. So, thank you very much, everybody. Welcome. I hope you enjoy your day and you get out of the conference all the things that you have put in this word cloud, which unfortunately I cannot show back. But anyway, so thank you so much. We will be right back in 4 minutes. Enjoy the day. See you soon.
I have no clue. I was invited yesterday because the more interesting people they cancel. No, but seriously, I'm here for the 6th year now already. So I started at TX, or formerly known as Tamedia or Tamedia Digital or Marketplace and Classified, whatever you want to call it, 6 years ago. And so the first time Thomas started, it was, I think, like, I don't know, 5 engineers in a small room. And then it just exploded. And I think for the last 3 or 4 years, we started mixing it up, marketing and product, of course, product. And last year was the first time that it actually like got the big marketing product tech vibe. So I'm really enjoying this.
Okay, cool. And Jeremy, you've also been here a long time. What is this thing we're doing this year, though? What is this getting into the metaverse for you?
I'm still trying to figure it out, but I'm old enough to remember the 1980s cable shows where you'd go to like the really high numbered channels and you'd see people kind of like doing this insane thing, and it reminded me of that, or maybe Doctor Who from BBC days, the old days. But anyway, I think it's really cool because it's where our culture comes from a little bit. We have a lot of, let's say, hyper creative people in our organization, and I was lucky to be at 4 of the TX conferences now, and it's grown every time. I got to do a really cool talk a couple of years ago. I brought in my huge synthesizer, and it resulted in the fire alarms being disabled in our main building.
But Jeremy, I remember.
Huh?
I remember that each year the CTO, last year it was Thomas. He was each year talking about, I mean, his main contribution was talking about where the toilets are, the Verdino food. What's your main contribution this year?
Well, I can point out these icons on the left and right here. So if you when you do something, there's up here somewhere is some indicators which you can click, and there's a close button actually in the corner in case things
don't press that one.
Oh, don't do that. Yeah, sorry. Only an emergency.
I could do a little toilet update if that would be useful, because we have a lot of people at home today, and please don't take your laptop with you into the toilet. Nobody needs to see that. But at least the toilet situation is much easier this year. So
I love it. We already spent like 20 seconds talking about toilets. But so Harry, you're always looking a little. I don't know. It's like you're looking up to your right. What's there? It seems to be interesting.
We've had a lot of speaker training, and we were taught to look into the camera like this. But actually, you guys are above, so. It's like if I want to look at you, it's like I'm having this enlightening experience. That's why I'm kind of looking up occasionally. So
no, we all look the same anyway. 3 white dudes with beards. Very diverse. I love it.
Exactly. We just need to swap the hair, and then. So, are there any things happening that you've seen on the schedule that you're going to be attending, that you're excited about today?
Yeah, there's a mix of some really interesting, a lot of talks. That was one of the comments I got frequently, was just how many talks there are and how diverse there are. A couple that I'm looking at look interesting. Marta from Pux is doing a talk about design ops, which I think is really cool. Yeah. Francesco, the CEO of Ricardo, my current and former boss, is doing a talk about Secondhand Day, which was a really cool initiative that Ricardo did. Really good talks about customer service. This is something that's a bit newer to TX, but hearing about how we handle customer service and that kind of stuff. Teams, productivity, hiring, and then of course a wide array of technical talks as well. So yeah, it's looking really cool.
Yeah, cool things happening. There's Christian Felder talking about how we solved some issues with advertising at Car4You. So this is quite interesting, I think. Then Micha is talking about how to hire the right people. I think I really have to watch that. I can learn a few things. We have an interesting talk about like bridging the gap between development and design from Armin and Fred later today. So this is going to be amazing. There are though 2 talks I wouldn't recommend. One is with my boss, Ollie, and then of course Jeremy's talk. That's definitely not interesting. But other than that, it's a lot of super interesting people. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah,
thank you, Robin.
And, I mean, actually, I would have the question: why is like half the talks from Car4You this year?
Well, I paid for it, right? So
it's a good decision. Actually, I think we have over 45, we've got 45 scheduled talks. We've got some more talks in the sessions. We've got meetups in the afternoon. But the thing I'm most excited about is that Counter-Strike Go competition. We're calling it TX Go. We have teams like Tutti versus Doodle, Ricardo versus Homegate. Anyone that you're picking as a winner, you want to put your name? Anything?
Well, I'm voting for Ricardo, obviously. I mean, but I don't know if they're going to win. I've heard there's some pretty stiff competition.
I'm a pacifist. So.
I'm going to play Minecraft while that's going on.
Exactly.
Actually, it's been funny. We'll talk more about this, but Charles Keane, who organized the whole thing, he's going to be talking about it later on. But the crazy thing about this is when we announced it was just like an idea, and the insane level of motivation from everyone. And we had guys who are like, yeah, I used to play that 10 years ago and I was like the best in Switzerland. And now they've like spent weeks practicing again, getting their skills back. So it's actually, the level of the Counter-Strike Go competition is going to hopefully be insane. So
pretty cool. But what I want to mention when you say Charles, I think it's something I really want to mention. I mean, you see our faces here, which is probably the worst idea, but like the amount of work put in by you guys. I mean, Harry, okay, you worked a little bit as well, just a bit. But what I've seen from Charles, Ellen, and all these people, that's crazy. You guys, I mean, a few months ago, you were told there's no conference, and then you just created this thing here.
Yeah, we could do a talk about exactly that. It's been insane, and even just 1 week ago. So in Verdino, the main room, we had a small audience planned, socially distanced, carefully managed. And then a week ago, we find out, okay, we can't actually have an audience there. The COVID numbers are increasing too much. So we're going to have isolated speakers talking on stage in an empty room. But it's going to, somehow this is all going to work. Maybe I just say this. So it's the first time we do a virtual conference. And I am completely sure that all kinds of things are going to go wrong today. Talks will not appear on time. People will lose their network connection. So what I want to say to anyone watching, set your expectations low, but your enthusiasm high. Just have fun, chat, try the networking feature. There's this little thing here, which way, I don't know what.
Show me your job.
It says networking. This thing is going to blow your mind. Watch the schedule and just have fun. You're going to see a lot of people from their living rooms on their laptops today, but still it's going to be amazing. All right, I guess we should kind of check out at this point. Okay. Guys, thank you so much for opening the conference like this.
Thanks for inviting us.
Thank you very much.
We'll catch up with you guys through the days, talks or sessions or other things, or just chatting.
Can we dance our way out, or is that?
Sorry, what?
Can we dance our way out?
Oh, should I put the music back on?
Oh yeah, please.
Hold on, I just got to click around a bit. Wait a second. Right, let's get back to the. This is music that appeals to people our age. Let's get the dancing.
TikTok thing.
Okay, have a great day, everyone.
Cheers.
Awesome.
All right, and while these guys are dancing away, I'm going to show you how do you get to the main talk. So if you go to, now that we've watched the presentation, the next session is the opening speech from the CEO of TX Group, Pietro Supino. So all you do is you go to the stage, and after that we'll have a demo of Hopin, and very quickly you go to Verdino, and there you go. So the opening speech is going to start in any moment now, so we'll see each other after.
So, good morning, everyone. Are you ready to start the 6th edition of the TX conference? So, and which is the best way to start? And I want to invite Pietro Supino on stage to give the welcome speech. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. It's great to be here. Feels a bit lonely, but it's still great to be here. Since our last edition, quite a lot has happened. The family TX Group has taken the name of the baby, TX Conference. And we have restructured the group. I think the new setup is already well introduced and works well. Notwithstanding all the difficulties we are facing given the current circumstances, but that's where you, our innovative spirits, and also where technology comes in and has helped to master all these challenges in an astonishingly good manner. So notwithstanding all, I'm really happy and positive. But today is a special day. Today I'm particularly happy and particularly positive because the TX conference is just a great invention. It is the essence of what we want to be, a tech and data-driven company. And it is also such an amazing event because it comes from within. It really shows the energy and the creativity and all the good spirits that make our group. And it is very attractive. We are 1,300 attendees today. That's amazing. 1,300 attendees from many countries, from all continents of the world. Last year, to make a comparison, we were 600. So we are more than twice the number of attendees as last year. That's a pretty good growth rate. Alone from yesterday to today, I was told another 100 signed up. So by yesterday, we were 1,200 attendees. Now we are 1,300. That really shows the dynamic both of the event and of the group. And I'm really very, very much looking forward to today's program, 55 sessions. And I'm also really impressed by the team who has decided to do the event, notwithstanding the fact that we cannot gather physically, which of course would be even nicer. But doing it that way will be a really interesting experience. I'm sure that it will work well. In this room here, it looks like a commando center of a spaceship. Lots of cables, lots of hardware pieces around. So I think we are all set to start now into an exciting day. And I would like to thank everybody who has been working on it. Pars pro toto, I mentioned Harry Fuchs, but all the team, I would like to thank you very, very much. I'm really proud that we can be here, that we can spend that day together. I'm looking forward to it, enjoy it, and let's hope that next year we'll do it in real life.
Thank you very much, Pietro. Thank you for opening this conference. And as you hear, are you so excited to have more than 50 speakers, a lot of 3 different streams? So it's really good to start right now with the first keynote. And I want to invite right now Nico Karilokou, and for the keynote, Do More with Less. Thank you, Nico.
So, mask off. Sound good. Good morning, everybody. So let's start. This is a first for me to open a conference and do a keynote speech, so I'm really kind of stressed and excited at the same time. It's strange because there's nobody here, so I thought of a situation that reminds me of this, and I brought in mind this movie. It's a great movie. So this is how I'm feeling today. I'm supposed to kind of energize everybody and give a good presentation, but I think one thing that I should try to do is kind of think of how you look now at home. So I try to create some personas of the people I'm talking to. So this is one persona. You are sitting there, you haven't showered in a week. Why would you? You are not supposed to go out of your house anyway. So you're ready on the chat to kind of make fun of things that don't work, point all the things that are wrong, and make fun of my Greek accent, you know? So that's kind of like the troll persona. Now, I know that statistically, if we are 1,300 people, about 130 of you are not wearing any underpants, and that's just 1 in 10. It's a known statistic, very solid one. So I'm imagining that as well. And then, as a parent, the third kind of persona I keep in mind is the ninja parents out there that are supposed to keep kids while working from home. And I wanted to give you a little story because I think this is not, for people who don't have kids, this is not that obvious. So every day in the pandemic, in the lockdown, when you have kids, you wake up and you run to your kids' room and you want to make sure that they look healthy. You don't care if they are healthy, you just want to make sure they look healthy. Because if you go to the Kita and then the Kita people see your kids looking a little bit sick, then they might send you home with them. And this is absolutely impossible to work out. So you have 6 meetings one after the other, and suddenly you have to change everything to pick up your kids, go back home with them, and they'll make a mess. So, yeah, thank you. If you're one of these parents, thank you very much for spending the time to hear us talk today. Now, the title of the talk is Do More with Less, and I put this here more of like a self-mockery, because I use it a lot, as you will see later with what we're doing in the company I work at, but I also think it's a little bit of corporate BS, because everybody wants to do it, everybody wants more with less, but what does it actually mean? And how do you actually achieve it? And I want to stress the fact that you can never really do more with less. What you can do is you can invest in processes, you can try to make your methodologies better to actually be able to achieve more. And I will argue that it's never with less, it's with a bit more, and just it has to be a lot more valuable at the output. Okay, so let's make it very, down-to-earth, concrete. So you have 4 oranges, you have some orange juice, and doing more with less, literally, means I take 1 orange away from you, and I want you to make more orange juice. Now, if you're Greek, like me, you would probably add some water in there and go, hey, boss, here it is, more juice. But that's not what we are talking about, right? We're talking about really more output. So I will argue this is about methods. And just to give you again an illustration, if you are this guy, then I'm sure you can grab a bunch of oranges and you can squeeze them hard enough, and he can probably get more juice out of a single orange with how much he can squeeze it, right? So this is kind of method 1, squeezing oranges with your hand. Then 15 years ago, I was a teenager. Yeah, I was a teenager, and my mom would come in the weekend and she would say, do you want some orange juice? Doesn't matter if I said yes or no, she would still make it. And she had this little device here in the middle. She would take about 60 oranges, chop them, take about half an hour to chop them, then about half an hour to squeeze them. She would come in all sweaty, like she worked for a whole weekend, and she would bring this glass of orange juice that was so precious. And this was a lot of work, and I had to drink that. And if I were to tell her, hey, mom, do more with less, I think she wouldn't be very happy. So now you can go to Coop, you press a button, out comes the juice into your little glass. You pay about 1,000 francs for it, but it's worth it. And if you go to Galaxus, you can buy a device for 60 francs that you pull a lever, like old Archimedes told us, and then you get this orange squeezed as if you were the mountain. So really, it's about methods. This changes a lot what you can achieve. Okay, enough irrelevant stuff. Let's talk about the situation right now. We are in a pandemic. People are working from home, measures out there. And how does this relate to doing more with less? Well, some businesses are obviously in serious trouble, and they cannot really do anything about that. So what I'm saying is not really referring to them. I'm talking about the ones where you're working from home, but your board, your managers, they still expect you to deliver the same output, or perhaps even more if growth is what they were planning for this quarter and the quarters before. So you really have less resources, but you want to have more output. And I want to make it specific to sales, for example. How can you sell a product with less interactions with your clients? Because you're at home, you cannot take them for dinner, you cannot sell your product. So what do you have to do? You have to find a new medium. And that's why I'm sitting here today behind a camera. That's why this conference is now doubling attendees online, because video is the right medium. And we've been using that. But the question is, are we using it right? So I will try to kind of give you some examples that you can relate to. So I'm going to switch now to my iPhone that is sitting here on my desk. And I'm going to show you something that I'm sure you have experienced yourselves. So you have a camera that somebody thinks they can use for a meeting, right? And you've had meetings with people that thought, now that I can work from home, I can actually take my phone with me to the kitchen and I can make my coffee. You can all enjoy my chin while I'm doing it. And then I can mute or unmute it. It really, it's a question of whether I know how to use it sometimes. And this is annoying, but people think it works, right? And this is a good experience. I think after a few months in working from home, we're starting to realize that this is not really a good experience. You see the image shaking, you don't get the right view, sometimes I look at you, sometimes I'm not looking at you. So this is not really the best kind of experience. And we've made some moves in the right direction. So going back to the regular view now, that looks again proper. We've bought some microphones. I'm sure you're praising each other for your setups at home, buying some webcams, you know, making it look nice, maybe putting some green screen, whatever. And we've made some steps, right? But if you are the CEO of a large group, if you are talking to your board about a change of strategy, if you are selling a product to a huge client, you don't want to risk that things don't work out, right? You don't want to risk that you leave the mute. So yeah, you don't want this to happen, right? So, and you have to think about the message and the branding and the quality of the output you want to have. I'm sure you all face the situation where your people are trying to share their screen. That's like the big thing. Now I'm going to share my screen. And every time somebody wants to share their screen, they take a moment to let you know that they're doing it. So they'll go like, let me find this. They're switching tabs. They're looking for this thing they want to share. I think they're actually hiding all the stuff that they don't want you to see. But anyway, they find it, and then they go like, I'm sharing now. And everybody gets excited. Bam, they share the screen. And then they always ask, can you see it? And this thing happens a lot, and we call it kind of grandpa points in my team. So it's like the situation where you don't know how to use your stuff, and you always have to get confirmation that it works. But if you think about the messaging, if you really want to have an impact with what you're doing, you cannot do it like that. You cannot be sitting there sharing your screen while you're talking about a change of strategy for a multi-billion operation. It's not possible. So what do? Well, you have to elevate production a little bit. So video has to be better. And you wouldn't be surprised to know that this, for almost 2 decades now, is possible to do. You just call a company. It's not anymore just a TV business that can do it. You call up a company, they come in, similar to the setup we have here now, and they will sit behind a lot of hardware, as we heard before. They will have some cameras, different cameras, backup cameras, audio devices and all that, and they will deliver a production. But that's not cheap. You have to pay usually 5 figures to do this 2-3 times per year. So it's a significant amount of money. And if you go back a step and you believe what I said, that you want to have better quality out of your videos, and you want to do this 100 times in a year, well, you're not going to increase your budget by 30 times. This is really, really unlikely. So what are you going to do? Video costs a lot to do it properly, but you need it properly lots of times per year now. And this is what SheerVision is doing. This is the company I founded with Reto and Konrad about 4 years ago. We have a background, Reto and I, in robotics, programming, AI, this kind of stuff. And our third co-founder, Konrad, he comes from the video production industry. So we started this company with the idea that we can democratize high-quality video productions. So you can have it anytime you want, on-premise, and you can run it basically 100 times a year at the cost of just a handful of times in today's world. So how does this work, right? How can we make video work at scale? There are 3 main pillars of technologies that we are using. One is automation, second is remotization, and the third one is virtualization. These were the fanciest words I can find to make me look intelligent. So I'm going to go through them a little bit and explain what it is about. So let's think about video, right? So the first thing you want to automate is the mundane tasks, the things that people don't want to do, the things that cost a lot of labor time, but they really don't bring the necessary output. And you also want to minimize logistics somehow. You don't want to send stuff around. So automation really is about removing these tasks, making them easy, the mundane, simple tasks. One of them is really operating a camera. Now, you've been looking at the feed coming from one of our cameras, one of our automated cameras now, while I'm presenting. And in the past, you would have a person there behind the camera. They would be looking at the viewfinder. They would be processing inputs coming from a director who would say, you know, maybe give me a closer view, maybe go a bit wider and whatnot. And then they would adjust the camera and do that again. So this was a job they would have to do. If the conference takes, you know, a couple of days, maybe a whole week, somebody would have to be behind that camera that whole time. And this really is one of these bottlenecks that you want to remove, you want to automate. And this is what we did. So now with algorithms, with computer vision, with neural networks, with control algorithms, and with robotic cameras, essentially, you can make a computer do a similar type of job. And that's what you've been looking at now. So if we switch now to the live interface of our system, you can see how it recognizes that there's a person on the stage. You can see a green area that if I move out of, it will be tracking me. And you can see that now the conference is actually taking a cut out of this and using it as the live feed of the stream. Now, the second word is remotization. This is the part where you want to decouple the location of where something is happening with the place from where you operate it. Okay, and we were able to have intelligent systems on premise that move cameras, right? So the second step would be the people who operate them. If they have to be there, then this is a bottleneck. Because imagine if you want to do 100 productions in a year, you want to do one every couple of days, you would have to bring them in, send them out, bring them in, send them out so many times. It's a problem. And they themselves, as service providers, they wouldn't be able to have a production right after another one because they would not have the time to travel. So really, remotization is about taking all the people that you can away from the set, okay, so that they are not stranded on location. Let's make it a bit visual again. So the business is happening somewhere. There is an interface I was showing to you, and this is directly connected to a computer that is running these intelligent algorithms. So remotization is about splitting this with a channel in between so that you can sit at home and you can have a computer at home, and you can, with this computer, interface with all the intelligent systems on premise. Now, the troll is going, I know this is VPN, we've been doing it for 20 years. And it's true, VPN has existed for 20 years, but 20 years ago, it was like a whole weekend project to set up a VPN. Now, with a service called Zero Tier, for example, a little bit of advertising, that we are using, you can do this in 5 minutes. Few clicks, any person who can use a mailbox can actually set up a VPN. And this is a prime example, in my opinion, of how we build on existing technologies and new methods to end up offering more with less. So that's one thing. And the second thing you need is a way to connect to this device and actually have a real-time interaction with it. For the ones that were trying to use remote desktop over the last decade, you remember the times where you would move your mouse and maybe 3 seconds later you would see it somewhere? This was not possible to do. So if I'm trying to control multiple cameras over a link somewhere else, I have to have this real-time, low latency. Doesn't work, right? So there is a technology, or better, a product called Parsec, which has been made for gamers. So the use case is a gamer wants to play a first-person shooter from a computer that is running somewhere with good GPUs, and he wants to stream all that back to his computer. And this is a use case that makes sense somehow today, and it's one that you can use. If you want low latency and so on, you want to use such technologies. You don't want to develop them. So that's what we've been doing, using these technologies to be able to offer easy VPN connections so you can sit at home, you can connect to any computer anywhere in the world, and you can operate it in real time. So let's look at an example of this. We're going to cut into the live feed of my colleague Laurent. Excuse my French. So Laurent is sitting at home. He's operating the interface that you see now. So you can see that as I'm moving on his screen, the latency is extremely low, and he can actually control what's happening on the feed. What's up, Laurent? There you go. So he can hear me. That's good. Can you maybe, I was watching the stream, and I think it shows a bit of my summer weight. Can you maybe zoom in a bit, create a better feed from the camera? There it is.
Just ahead.
So you see it now. so he can actually do this from home. And this is pretty cool, right? So that means that soon, any production you want to do anywhere can be handled in this way. So the last part is virtualization. This is perhaps the most difficult word to explain. Virtualization is the part of removing hardware, essentially. So you want to take specialized equipment, audio mixers, video mixers, graphics engines, and instead of having specific server racks on premise, you want to be able to put them somewhere else. Where do you want to put them? Of course, in the cloud. In order to do this, and this is the part that is actually hard. So if VPN was hard 20 years ago, this is where virtualization is today. So it's going to be another decade, I think, before virtualization is for anybody. So you click a few times and then it's done. So what you want to do is you want to take your specialized equipment, make some interface to a general purpose computer, and once this works, that general purpose computer doesn't have to be anymore on premise. It can go up in the cloud. So you go from this situation, and it is a little bit like that, I guess, right now, and having servers and cables and stuff and people operating those because they don't know how to connect and so on. You want to go to this magical experience, one cable, click, and then you can operate it from anywhere. Okay, so let's recap a little bit of what I've been saying. We have intelligent systems on premise that can do some of the mundane tasks by themselves. We have remote operation, so you can sit at home. You can do a production in the morning, a production in the evening that are 200 kilometers apart. It's pretty cool. And you don't have to have a lot of hardware on premise. You can actually have simple interfaces to the internet, and then you can use the cloud. So here's what you can do. You can have your DOPs in Dothraki C. These are your servers. They're intelligent servers. You can have productions happening in King's Landing or in Bravos, and then you can have the interface all the way in Casterly Rock. And this is not just fiction. We can actually do this. We've been running servers in Belgium with productions in Switzerland already. So this is really something that is possible to do. And what does this mean? You can actually now provide high quality output, good messaging, better branding, 100 times a year for the price and a little bit more of what you would do 2-3 times per year before. So now I'm thinking of everybody a bit like this. You're sitting on your resources. You have been able to protect them. Maybe you threw a pack out to buy some services, some little bit more hardware, some better mics and so on. But you are actually able to go from 5 good quality productions a year to 100. You had to spend a little bit more. And I think this would be my kind of take-home message. We shouldn't talk about doing more with less, but rather do much more with only a little bit more. If we can do that, then I think we have succeeded. And I would argue that the principles I talked about are transferable to a lot of industries. You can actually automate mundane tasks wherever possible. This is the switch to intelligent systems I talked about. You can actually decouple operation from location. This is the remotization principle. And of course, this is a trend that is quite strong. Everybody knows it now. You can try to put everything that is now special in the cloud. That's it. Thank you very much. I'm Nikos. We are doing very cool stuff at Spherevision, and I wish you have a great conference. Thank you very much.
Nico. And we have actually a couple of questions. One of these is, for example, what happens if we have more than one person that the camera is pointing?
That's a good question. So the neural networks that are running in these intelligent systems that I talked about, they identify people in real time. So now that you came on stage, the system has assigned a specific identifier to you, and it had one for me before. So it is able to differentiate between us. So if things happen, then it can really tell that you are Mirko and I'm Nikos. That's essentially what happens.
Thank you. So it means if I will start jumping on a stage, the camera will follow also me?
So we are typically doing productions, as I said before, for like corporate messaging and things like that. People don't jump a lot. Maybe Steve Ballmer jumps a little bit. But usually you don't have this kind of situation. So we have a deadband. This is a space where you can move, because always speakers are a bit nervous and you don't want the camera to move. So you set a safe space. So I think in this case it wouldn't work unless you jump really high.
Thank you very much for your talk. And we will now have the next talk at 9:45. Thank you very much for watching.
All right, so that was the opening address from Pietro Supino and our keynote speech from Nikos Karacioglu. I tried. I should have rehearsed a bit more. So we will be back in about 9 minutes again in the studio with Harry Fuchs to talk about the program that is going on Conference TV today. So if you've interacted with the different environments on Hopin, you know that there are different tracks going on today. We have tracks of speeches, but we also have this Conference TV channel, as well as all the sessions and the booths and the gaming competition, of course. So just a reminder, if you're watching this stream on YouTube or on LinkedIn, and I can't believe I'm doing this, I'm actually trying to get people away from YouTube. But there's a link in the description of the stream. And this is where you can experience the conference in the best way possible. It's on a platform called Hopin. So just click on the link and you can get your ticket. There are a limited number of tickets available. Already more than 1,350 people have claimed their tickets. So click on the link and register. And then you're able to watch all the different speeches that are going on in the different rooms today, and people also will be doing speeches from their home office. You'll be able to also catch all the interviews that you will see on Conference TV. So it's not just happening on the stream, but also on Hopin. We have a dedicated separate channel. So we'll take a break and we will be right back in about 7 minutes, and we will explore the platform and we will talk about today's schedule with Harry Fuchs. So thank you so much, and see you in 7 minutes.